Hey guys, Adam from Equipped Indoor. Thought I'd take the time here to do another EDC video. Haven't really had a chance to do one in a while, and I got some gear here. I wanted to talk about my EDC and different aspects of that. So got the Equipped Cave set back up. Hope you guys like the scenery I'm surrounded by. But I thought I'd jump right into a little bit of the Equipped Indoor EDC as it is right now. So the first thing I want to talk about here, and we don't talk about that much, is firearms. The reason being is I am law enforcement, so I do carry off-duty. I carry a Glock 23, and this weapon system I'm very familiar with. So I carry this majority of the time. Sometimes I don't carry it with me. I mean, I carry it as the situation dictates. I know what you guys are saying, oh my gosh, you don't carry your gun with you 24/7? I'll be honest with you, I don't. Now some people might say that they do when they really don't, but I'll tell you, if I'm with a couple of my buddies and we're all having a, going out, having a drink, having a good time, sometimes I don't take it with me for that very reason. I tend to stay out of situations where I feel that I would really need it. If I'm going to some place I think is dangerous or I might need personal protection, then I'll either not go to that area or then I'll take it with me. So that's just how I go. Now, one thing, this is not chambered right now. We're still going to treat it as if it were. And we're going to clear the weapon. Now, one thing, and this is up to debate, this is a good conversation, I do only carry one magazine. As you can see, there was not a round chamber because when I store it at home, I do not keep a round in there. Some people think that's, not a good idea either, because if you're going to load your weapon at home because there's an intruder or something, you don't want to give away your position. But hey, that's why I have a fully trained personal protection dog, so I don't necessarily have to use my gun right away, or if I'm really worried about where I'm going to be. Now, I do have a pancake holster here. The reason being, I did have a couple of the in the pant holsters. I kept on bending the buckles of them. They would catch on seat belts or other things like that. So I just kind of went back to the old faithful pancake holster. So I guess that's a piece of my equipment. I only carry one magazine. Now, this is up to debate, but I really feel that if I needed to draw my weapon and 13 rounds wasn't enough, then I probably should have never been in that situation anyway. I have extra magazines in my EDC bag, but I don't have any extra magazines on my belt. So that's what we're talking about, actually items you keep on your physical person. A lot of times, though, this weapon will be in a bag and won't be on my person. I like to carry it that way, just because I've had a back injury recently, as a lot of you guys know, and so any extra weight on my belt is not going to be conducive for a good time for me personally. So we covered the firearms aspect. A lot of people ask a lot of questions around that. Glock 23, I trained with this weapon extensively. And believe it or not, this is actually probably the worst performing Glock out there. Not to say that I don't like it and I'm not proficient with this. I always shoot expert when I go to the range for my qualifications. The barrel length, this is a 40 caliber, 40 Smith & Wesson. And I've talked to people at Glock before, and they say this is actually their worst performing one in reference to keeping on your keeping your sight picture sight alignment for second shots. We did have I had a different trigger mechanism when I first started using this weapon. We've gone to, I think, the New York trigger now, or am I getting that right, or just a normal trigger pull. I'm not going to give you guys the exact weight on that one. I don't really get into it that well. I just know how to use this effectively and efficiently, and that's where I draw the line. So we got the defense spoken about. But one of the main things when I talk about EDC and I talk to people is actually adjusting your wardrobe to meet the needs. First thing I have is, let's talk about my belt. This is just a rigger style belt. It's a Black Hawk belt. I wear this all the time. I have the leather belt I wear a lot too, but I always have a belt on me. Even if I don't need a belt, I always have one on me. For pants, you guys who know me see me a lot in cargo pants. I like the extra pockets because I carry a lot of stuff. And these are one of my favorite pair of pants. This is the 511 Tac Light Pros. Very lightweight. The pockets on this are awesome. Easy to carry all your gear. I don't really like the fact that they're elastic. I actually don't like elastic type pants. But these pants are comfortable. These are the poly cotton blend and ripstop. Good stuff. Lightweight, as I said, as they are called, the Tac Light. And I've been using these type of pants for a good long while. These pair right here is actually several seasons old. They still look pretty good. I don't have any issue with that. Great pair of pants. In regards to my boots, this is a pair of Magnums that I've had forever. As you guys can see, they've seen prettier days. And if you notice, the laces are actually 550 cord. I replace all my boot laces with 550 cord. That way, if I ever need extra cordage, I have that on me. So, these type of items right here, is something that I'm always going to wear in the fall, spring, and winter time. I usually have another pair of backup wool pants in a vehicle just in case it gets really cold. But you know, I always wear these type of pants when I'm out in the field. I don't really wear flip-flops or shorts or anything very often, especially if I'm going out and doing any kind of training. I always wear long pants, even if it's hot outside. So that's just, you know, there are a lot of ticks in my area, a lot of other creepy crawlies. You know, if I need to chill out and, you know, cool down or whatever, I can do so. But it's very important for me to wear clothing that can protect you, because, you know, clothing is your first line of defense in regards to shelter, and always make sure that I wear nice clothing. The shirt I have on right now, you guys see me wear this shirt a lot. You see all my team members wear these shirts. These are the 511 shirts as well. I love the pockets that come in these shirts. Very effective and efficient in regards to organizing all my gear on my person. You know, for one example, you know, my cell phone, I can get it right there all the time. Now, I've seen people who are actually able to conceal carry in these pockets. I don't, because my weapon system is a little too big for that. I don't choose a smaller weapon system because I train with that weapon system so much. I just don't feel that I would be as competent with another weapon system. So if I leave my current employment at one time and I train with another weapon, a smaller weapon for concealed carry, I might change it at that point. But until that time, I'll probably stick with that one. These are the Tactical Series line shirt. The one thing I like about these, though, is I have the option of always wearing long sleeves. And those of you guys who go out in the field in the area that I live at, it's not like down south where you don't have a lot of shrubs, or what's the word I'm looking for? There's not a lot of brush and everything. There's a lot of brush down here. I mean, it's not the jungle, but a lot of thorny things, a lot of, you know, creepy crawlies and whatever. So if I want to, I can, you know, pull these down, roll my sleeves down and protect myself. So I actually like the fact of that, because I am a sleeve roll-up kind of guy, but I like to have the option of having long sleeves as well as a collar if you want to, you know, batten down the hatches, as it may. In regards to pockets, we have a pocket that goes up top here and then a pocket that goes in the side. So very effective at carrying additional gear. And also we have pin pockets, which actually, believe it or not, I do carry pins in here from time to time. I always have a writing utensil with me. So right here is just a Sharpie marker. So I guess that's part of the equipment that I had on here. Didn't realize I had it before I started the video. The other thing that a lot of people don't speak about is their hat or some kind of cover. This is actually a Hazard forecap. And though it's a lot of Velcro coverage on this thing, this is one of the most comfortable hats I've ever had before. Really adjusts the size very well. And also there's a way to actually put a strap in here that you can actually clip to the back of your shirt if you're in a windy area. So if your hat gets blown off, it'll blow off there and it'll stick to the back of your shirt so you don't lose your hat. So I love this hat. It's, you know, it's got all the great UV protective aspects. It breathes very well. It wicks moisture away from you. Great hat. And of course, if you want to throw some morale patches or something on this, of course you can. These side panels right here are actually a spot where they actually have a flashlight holding device. So if you want to just Velcro your flashlight on the side of your head, I know that sounds crazy, but until you get out there, when you're in the dark, you're doing something with your hands and you haven't got everything set up and you need that additional light, it always helps to have a light that's always pointing the direction that you want to point into. So I can carry that device, Velcro it here, and then slide my flashlight in it where I need it, when I need it, not necessarily have to go and buy a standalone flashlight. Of course, I have several of those as well. Also, for protection, I have my sunglasses. These are just a pair of Oakleys. I've had these for years. This is actually when I got out of the academy, this is the first pair of glasses I bought, and actually the gray kind of matched our new uniform, so I thought I was kind of spiffy. And believe it or not, I was always the buy cheap sunglasses type of guy because I break them or lose them so easily, but I bought an expensive pair of sunglasses, Oakleys at the time. Salary wasn't what it is today back then, and I've actually kept these pretty decent, not that much wear, but I do like these sunglasses, and they're usually on top of my head or on top of my hat. So let's talk about what's in my pockets. One other thing I brought down that I didn't have in my pockets here recently that you guys have seen, and we'll pull the camera up a little bit closer and I go over this. This is actually one of the first videos I ever did on YouTube. And this is my little mini kit. It's gone through some modifications through the years. And this is one thing that's usually in a coat pocket of mine. So if it's in the winter time, I usually always have this. I also have had a couple pair of pants that have a little, clasp in the cargo pockets, and sometimes I'll clasp that on there. So it's kind of like, built into the pants. I can leave it in there. I don't have to worry about it falling out. And this has several items. It's got a little peanut can opener, some tweezers, a sharpener, a little red light. So I always have extra light with me. A mini pry bar, a mini Swiss saw, a mini razor blade, and then a Gerber clutch, which is a decent multi-tool. I've had this for years. I've heard people say they broke these before, but I've had pretty good success with mine. And you know, the blade actually is pretty decent. I'll show you guys this up close, but I have sharpened this thing to a razor. Nice little knife. So this is another piece of my kit I usually carry with me probably about 60% of the time. I'll be honest with you guys, sometimes it just doesn't make the cut. And I'll talk the reason why. You know, your EDC always evolves. I know mine always does. So sometimes something like this just gets to be too much in my pockets, especially if I'm not wearing a large pair of pockets, a large pair of pants with cargo pockets, or if I'm not wearing a jacket. So, and this is a little noisy as well. All right, so let's start in my cargo pockets of the pants I'm wearing right now. First, I have my one wallet, and then I have my credential wallet. I always carry two. That way, if one gets lost, I have a little bit of extra in both. There's identification in both of them. There's usually cash in both of them, and there's also some kind of credit card or debit card in both of them as well. And then plus, if you know, something happens, unfortunately, I were to get mugged or robbed or something like that, well, in here they wouldn't see anything that would identify me as a law enforcement officer. One thing that I have in here is a little signal mirror, which is pretty cool. A $2 bill, which I carry with me in both wallets. And there's some other stuff in here, an extra old identification, a driver's license, and then my cred wallet is that. We don't need to go in that any more detail. Okay, so those pockets are empty right now. I don't usually carry much in my back pocket because I don't like to sit on that kind of stuff. That's why I wear cargo pockets. All right, so I got a Benchmade Barrage. Do love this knife. There's a small little 550 cord lanyard right there. This knife is dirty as heck, has been seen, has been loved, has been used very, very much. Let me just zoom into this just so you can see how nasty I got this thing right now. That's right. You see that, guys? That means I love it. And I just need to go, I need to go clean it. I mean, a lot of guys say, you know, I never use a knife out in the field. You know, always go for a fixed blade, never use a folder. I use this knife so much out in the field. I use this knife to eat with when I'm out in the field. So I'm not one that really buys into a fixed blade is the only place. I mean, a fixed blade knife is the only knife you should have when you're out in the field. I do use this knife. Now this is a little bit large for concealed carry for some states. I can get away with it, but guys, you might want to look at something a little bit smaller, but I do like this knife. To believe it or not, I'm kind of over the forward assist. I don't really would need that, so the next thing I get from Benchmade, I probably won't get that feature added to it. So, all right. Next is my Phoenix or whatever you want to call it. This is actually not my LD10. This is actually a LD12 because my LD10 is wrapped up in my tent that we used for our last class. The cool feature about this, there's a button toggle on here now. So instead of screwing the cap, you can just use this button toggle. So I'm happy with this thus far. I got to throw a lanyard on this one and got to find my other flashlight. I left it hanging in my tent for a class we had, and then we tore down the tent. I packed it in there with the tent, or I lost it. I'm hoping that it's still in the tent. I just haven't had a chance to go out there. So, of course, I was at my buddy's, Sean, who owns Edgeworks Knife and Tool in Frederick, Maryland, and I said, hey, Sean, I'm buying one of these lights from you, and he didn't argue with me, so that's why I have a new one. Okay, so of course we have chapstick. Always gotta have that in your kit. I know, guys, what are you gonna do? All right, next is my keys. Now there's a couple things on here that's actually survival related. One is a small ferro rod. This is the Boy Scout one. The reason I love this one is it's small, and you can still get a good amount of sparks out of it. It's not going to shoot large sparks like some other knives. I mean, some other ferro rods, but it'll get the job done. There is a striker there too, so if I don't have my knife with me, I'm good to go. Several links of paracord in this little lanyard right here. And I also have a handcuff key. Some of you may not need that. Some of you might want that, but it's there just in case. It's kind of inconspicuous in the rest of my keys. Of course, I have my Batman keychain. This thing is from 1991. I've had this for a great long while. So don't hate if you're not a Batman fan. You should be. All right, so that's all squared away. We'll go to my watch. My watch is a Pathfinder. I forget exact model. Casio Pathfinder 3134. It's a PAW 1500. got an altimeter, it's got a compass, it's got a barometer. Of course, you can actually move this dial around. So if you want to use this, I've actually used this compass. And also I have a little button compass. Now this is not liquid filled, which can be problematic because sometimes it takes forever. But I really just use this to check the digital compass on here. Now this is a tough solar, and one problem with this is that actually working nights, I've had this die on me a couple times where I've had to leave it out in the sun for a few minutes. It says that if it's out in the sun for 10 minutes, it recharges that. That is not the case. I've had it out in the sun for an hour before and it's not been charged or it's functioning yet. But not to say that it doesn't come back. You just need to leave it out in the direct sunlight for a while and it will come back to you. Actually, since I've been working days, I haven't had an issue with it not working for me. Of course, I always have a paracord bracelet. This is one with actually buckles. So that's always on me at all times. And really digging the paracord bracelet. It's kind of become a statement of our little club here. So let's see if I got anything in this pocket now. So we're gonna go here. And the first thing I have in here is my little micro kit. We'll go over the contents of this kit here in a hot second. But this kit I've actually used several times. I actually need to replenish some of the items in here because I've used them quite a few times. And you know, you can't say that something like this size is worthless. It's not. You can use this for a variety of different things. I really like this small little kit with my keychain. This is one of the first videos that I've ever done in regards to survival kits. And don't worry guys, you'll get a whole good look at this here in the near future. Also have my phone. Now one problem with this phone, this is actually the the HTC Thunderbolt. This is a 4G LTE phone. Now this was the first 4G phone that came out for Verizon, I believe. And the battery for this thing is crap. It is my biggest complaint. I always have this thing plugged in, which actually, of course, affects the battery life even more because it retains a memory. So I actually have a small, and I don't have it on me, I usually keep it in my coat pocket, but it's a small little Energizer clip-in that adds about 25% more battery life. But you know, this phone is forever dying on me, so my next phone that I will get, the most important thing will be the battery life. So there's some new phones out there, so when it's time for me to switch up, that will be the single reason that I switch this phone. Not because it doesn't operate well, it actually is a phenomenal phone, but the battery life is crap. Now there are some aftermarket chargers on that one, but I'm not ready to invest in anything for that phone. I'm ready to get another phone. Okay, the next item, and I know I'm gonna get crap about this, guys, but it is what it is. This is a Zippo lighter. Now, Adam, why would you get crap about that? You know, I really push the fact that, you know, don't rely on lighters. Anytime something has, the more mechanical pieces it has, the more chance it is it's going to break on you. But a Zippo is a great item. The one thing is that I'm not a smoker, so if you don't, you know, light this thing up regularly, it kind of dries out for you. I know that sounds crazy. You'll have more difficulty lighting it up. And also the fuel kind of goes pretty quick on these. So I haven't tested it out. It'd actually probably be a good test. And you guys who are Zippo guys out there could probably let me know how long this will go without maintenance. So I check it pretty regularly. There's a couple of fellow YouTubers. I got some great Zippo tricks that I've been trying to, you know, learn. I'm not going to do those on camera right now because of course I'll fail because I'm on camera right now. And the last but not least in this pocket is, you know, a little Write and Rain notepad and a space pen. Now this is one that's from Maxpeditions tagged on it. Now I usually carry just very El Cheapo notepads. The one thing I don't like about this is that the rings here are so tight you can't slide your pin in there without popping them off. So unfortunately I have to wear the pin, you know, next to this, which is more likelihood of you losing it. Now one thing I'd put in here, I put identification here. I actually put my driver's license number in here. The reason being, for any two-bit hoodlum that finds us on the street, it's not going to have really any information. But if I'm incapacitated and my wallet is missing or whatever, this is the only thing I have on me. You know, if somebody can run that number, they would identify. You know, law enforcement would recognize that as a driver's license number or operator's number, and they would be able to identify me based off of that. Also, any medications or allergies or anything that you have. You don't have to put your address on here, but something else, you know, maybe city, state that you live in, something like that if you're worried about somebody finding this and finding your personal information. But the reason a pen and paper is so important, if you were ever in a survival situation and your mind is kind of going everywhere, you need to sit down and write things down. The reason being is you're going to be excited. There's a chance you can forget things. If you find some kind of resource that's away from camp, you want to kind of draw a map or instructions on how to get back there so you're not wasting important time or precious time trying to refine that resource if the time be. And also, of course, if you want to write a note to loved ones, heaven forbid something bad happened to you. But, you know, pen and paper is always good. I mean, here, you know, vehicle accident. You get there, you got to get the guy's driver's license number, his vehicle information. If you don't have pen and paper, he's like, oh, don't worry about it. I got your stuff. I'll give you a call, and it's his fault. Hey, you know, and if you haven't called law enforcement to come help you on the scene, it's good to have your own pen and paper. So I highly recommend this. I mean, when I was on the job, I used to keep one in each pocket. I had one that was just there for writing reports, and of course, I had one for my personal use. So pretty good all in all. And the last thing that I have on me right now, and I'm really liking it, is my Swiss tool from Victorinox. My favorite multi-tool that I've ever gotten. One amazing feature with this is it has a great saw. This is an awesome saw, and the blade is not bad either. So it could use a little work, but all in all, it's a great blade, very comfortable to hold, and they do lock in place. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to spin the camera around here to give you guys some look-see. Now, of course, this is what, of course, is on my physical person. You guys know how I am about my EDC bag. It's either on me or in my vehicle or very close at hand. The only time it wouldn't actually be on my person or laying at my feet is if I was in some place like a mall or something like that, where, and actually most of the time, I can't even remember the last time I was in a mall. I just don't go to certain establishments like that. But most of the time, that's going to be, you know, right then and there on me as well. Having an assortment of gear, you're always prepared. You always have what you need at hand. And I can't express to you how often I use these pieces of equipment, and they do serve a purpose. Even if it's just a purpose of convenience. Like, hey, does anybody got a pen? I got a pen. You know, hey, somebody got a knife to open this up? I do. And then heaven forbid a situation that you need, hey, you know, you just rear-ended me, let me see your license so I can write down your information and your vehicle information. Or if you see something else that happens, you got to write down a quick note. So guys, I'll be right back. We'll show you some close-ups on this, and then we'll close it out. All right, guys, so let's review. We got some communication, navigation. Of course, do have a mirror in here, like I said before. So that's another communication type tool. Just got our rope. Of course, we have fire, our writing instruments, our keys, glasses, hat. It's our firearm. And don't forget about the clothes and everything I talked about as well. So, like I said before, nice sturdy blade. We love it that way. I gotta clean that bad boy up. What is that growing on the side of my knife? Don't worry about it. It's all good, guys. No big issue. Chapstick, don't leave home without it. When you live in a windy area, you'll appreciate that. The Swiss tool. And here's a little LD12, guys. I was talking about before. It's pretty awesome, that little toggle right there. Okay, so let's crack this bad boy open, of course. If you're not always prepared, you're never prepared. I just threw that sticker on there, guys. I was walking by the stickers, so. All right, so we talked about this before. Little bobbin of black thread. I would love to replace that actually with some Kevlar thread. It'd be a great idea here in the near future. So we got that right there. And this is a needle that you can actually see I had some thread in there, because I can't tell you how many times I've ripped the button off of something and I've had to use this needle. Actually, it's bent. You can see it's gotten some love here in the recent future. Let's slide that bad boy back in there for right now, so you don't lose that. This right here is some fishing line. I think that's about, I don't even think that's 30 feet, probably only 20 feet of fishing line. We have a razor blade in there. You'd be shocked what you can make with a razor blade. Little Sparky. This is just some tin foil. This is some hooks, some more needles, some bobbers, and some other fishing aids, and wrapped up in some duct tape. And nobody said it was pretty. Another safety pin that kind of escaped. And this is actually the last piece of little petroleum impregnated tinder. When this kit was originally created, it had 4 pieces in there. Also, it's actually missing a little button compass, and I don't know where that button compass went, I'll tell you the truth. I was expecting it to be in there. I mean, I have one here, so I'm not very worried about it, but I had a very small mini compass in there that apparently got lost during the use of this small kit at one point or another. So get everything back in there. It's not much, but it's, you know, it's more of a little servicing kit. But you know, it has served its purposes. Haven't caught a fish with this kit. But, also, I had enough room in here at one point. I used to keep some Advil or ibuprofen or Tylenol, aspirin, whatever, in little bags up here, but that's actually been used as well. So after I'm done this video, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to refresh this kit. So, but I mean, the size of it, guys, give you a point of reference. There's a stick of chapstick. So we're talking about, you know, maybe a two and a half chapsticks in size. It's not that big. You can drop it in your pocket and forget that it's there. So, and then the last thing I want to show you guys too is just our little keychain of doom up here. We'll get it more in frame. This sharpening stone has been loved very much. Doesn't even stay in there anymore. The glue that held it in place has long since dried out from using it. And also I have this cut through here so the razor doesn't come out. It's pretty cool. And let's, you know what? Let's see if this thing works. I actually lost the rubber seal to this peanut lighter a while back. It doesn't look like it. Oh, there we go. Sweet. That little torch is awesome. Countycom.com, guys. Love that place. Love those guys. Should call those guys up and do an interview on the podcast with them. They're freaking awesome. That's where I got most of these items. I was actually just digging out a huge nasty splinter from my hand today with these tweezers. I mean, that thing went in there. You got like stuck up underneath there, and it was awesome. So, Adam, what do you use your mini pry bar for? Everything that you'd pull your knife out to move or pry with that you shouldn't, that's what I use that for. You know, scraping the gunk off of a, you know, battery cables or whatever. I mean, off a battery to try to get a connection for the cables to jumpstart somebody's vehicle. I mean, I can't tell you, you know, something like this. It's a metal tool that it's used to scrape and pry and beat up, and it's not going to chip or make your knife nasty. So use it. Use it for that. Don't use your knife, because I can't tell you how many knives I've chipped. So that's pretty much it, guys. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. The only thing we really didn't cover in here is, you know, some extra stuff to make shelter, which you can easily throw something like an SOL heat sheet. I love this thing. It's awesome. They're like $5. Can't go wrong. It's a little bit more compact. This one has been used several times, which illustrates that it can be placed back in its original container. And also something like, if you want some water filtration devices, something like the Frontier Pro. There's other type of items out nowadays that maybe will be a little bit thinner than this, a little bit smaller, but this is a old faithful one now. Not to say this is going to make the water taste very well, but you're going to take out 99%, 99.9% of the nasties in there. So just something to think about. We don't really always need to have everything in our pockets. That's what a small kit would be for. Always having that with you, though, is another video altogether. So, you guys, Adam from Equipped Door. If you guys have any questions or comments, please email me at adam@equippedindoor.com. And tell you what, guys, I want this to be a learning experience for everybody. So what I'm putting forward to you guys is I'd like to see your EDC kit. A lot of guys do this tag stuff on YouTube. I haven't really had a chance to get involved in that kind of stuff. To tell you the truth, I have so many videos to edit right now, I don't know if I should get involved in one of those stuff. But I want to push that out to you guys. Let me see your summer 2012 EDC kit videos. And a great place to post it up to share is on the Equipped Door website. Just go to equippedindoor.com and join to be a basic member. The basic membership is free. Throw your video up there, and there might be something in there for it. I have to see how much of a response I get from everybody. I'll tell you what, guys. Let's make a deal. The more involved I see people getting on there, the more videos that we have on there, the bigger the prize is going to be. And right now I have an item to give away for a contest. It's around the $800, yes, $800 range. So all those guys will say, Adam, why do you do all these expensive reviews? So I can give them away to you is the answer. So guys, tell you what, let's get a lot of people on there. If we can get 100 videos up there, that would be substantial. Maybe that's the goal, 100 videos to give away something that's a ridiculous prize. If we can't meet the 100, I'll sure to give away some other stuff. We have a great amount of stuff to be giving away. Knives, other kind of gears, backpacks, you name it. So don't worry, we'll have a plethora of different items to give away here in the near future. But let's get everybody out there and learning from one another and sharing, because I want to watch these videos too, guys. I love talking about EDC videos. I always see great information coming from you guys. And if I could take something to improve my own kit, you best believe that I will. All right, guys. You guys take care. Be safe out there. And remember, if you're not always prepared, you're never prepared. Thanks.